Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I will try that again because I know everyone doesn't have coffee yet and you all are still trying to get warmed up to the morning. Good morning, everyone. Oh, that is a much better welcome, much better welcome. I'm Karen Robertson and I'm currently serving as the chair for the Morgan County Family Connection Collaborative. Thank you all for being here with us this morning for the 2023 State of Morgan County Forum. This is an initiative of the Family Connection Collaborative, and Velding has been doing a great job of getting all of our key stakeholders and leaders across the city and the county together annually for this discussion, for you all to hear updates from each sector of the community. And then, not only hear from our leaders here, but to see how you can plug in to the information that they share. How do you fit? How do you become a part of the puzzle that makes all of this work together for the betterment and the improvement of outcomes for the children and families here in Morgan County? As you can see, you have an agenda there in each of your seats, along with some other supporting documents that'll be referenced throughout the morning. We're going to hear from our coordinator with information about the Family Connection Annual Plan, and some highlights will come from each sector leader. We'll hear from the county, we'll hear about economic development as well as education, the state of local government from our local government officials, healthcare, as well as public safety. And should there be an opportunity for you all to share in questions, I'm sure that our coordinator will see if time will permit that, because we want to be respectful of your day and get you in and out. And then hopefully you'll find this day a day well spent. Thank you all so much. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to some and present to others, Velding Hardy, who's the coordinator for the Morgan County Family Connection.
Good morning, everyone. So good to see you all. We have a really good turnout this year. It's always good to see everyone that come out this time of year just to get the state of Morgan County. We thank Karen for opening us up, and all of our guests for being here today. I'm just going to kind of highlight quickly. I am Velding Hardy, the coordinator of Morgan County Family Connection. And for those who are not familiar with what Family Connection is, and many of you are, but I just want to kind of share with you again what Family Connection is. Family Connection is not an organization, it's not a nonprofit, it's not an entity, but we are a delegated authority. Here in Morgan County, we are a delegated authority. In April of the year 2000, the Georgia House enacted a legislator that designated us to be the authority here in Morgan County, that not only, with our mission to not only look at the needs and trends that affect children and families here, but to also facilitate partnerships to help address those needs. And so we've been doing that for 23 years here in Morgan County. We're actually a line item in the Georgia state budget. There are 159 collaboratives in the state of Georgia, because there is a Family Connection collaborative in every county of the state of Georgia. But we love to say, if you've seen one collaborative, you've seen one, because all of our collaboratives and connections are based upon the needs of that community. And so we can't go to Greene County and say, oh, Greene County is doing this, we should do this, or Walton is doing this, we should do this. It's based upon our community and what our needs are. And how do we realize and how do we get that information from you? Each year, we decide what we're going to focus on by holding our annual strategic planning meeting. And so each year in January, we call together partners, organizations to sit down, to look at data, to bring their data. What's going on with children and family? What are you seeing? What trends are you seeing in Morgan County? And so we review that data, we come up with a plan, we look at the plan we already have, we tweak it, and then we roll it back out again. And so this year we had, I don't know, about 20 people that came out for our annual strategic plan, and we devised a plan. And what you'll see is on this one page here is, well, let me stop. We look at data. And so if you look at the second page of this handout that you have, one of the data points that we look at is birth to 21 profile. And we get this from our state office, the Georgia Family Connection state office. And they get this from the Annie Casey Foundation. And they pull data related to children and families and kind of break it down. Where you see the green, it means that we are doing better than the state rate in Georgia. Where you see red, it means that we are doing 10% worse than the state of Georgia. And where you see yellow, we are within that 10% within the state of Georgia. And again, it kind of red, yellow, green, it kind of depends upon where you think the state is, as well as how we're doing. If you look at it, you see that we have a lot of green. So Morgan County is doing really well. You are doing really well. And doing what the family and children need here in Morgan County. There's always work to do. This is this year's data, and you see that the most recent year is from 2021 because data is always behind. And so we're looking at data from a couple of years ago, how we were doing a couple of years ago. But is this the same today? Does this data still look the same today? And so that's why every year we come together and ask you, what are you seeing in the community? I wanted to put on the back just so that you know how quickly data can change. That last page, you'll see that we have more yellow in 2019, we have more red in 2020, and we have, so it just changes. So data is always changing, and that's why we continue to come together each year. We want to update you on what we're seeing in the community and have you update us as well. Based upon the data that we got this year, we are continuing with our focus of 3 major strategies, and you'll see this on this first page here. And on the first page, what we did and communicating, we started these 3 strategies probably about 8 years ago. One is children safe and family strong, because you will still see in red this year, substantiated cases of child abuse and neglect is high here in Morgan County. It's still in the red. We started that strategy to focus on bringing partners together to help address those needs. As you can see, there are many different strategies that we follow. Working with children, families that have those small children. How can we support them? How can we make sure they have what they need? Couple of the things in this strategy, I just want to point out the Baby Bulldog Early Literacy Program. That is a program we're doing in partnership with the school system where you may have seen us out in the community for Family Fun Day, early literacy events. We had a Peek the Cat event back in May. A lot of little children came out. The whole point of that is to bring together those families that have those children 0 to 5, to get them assessed with the ages and stages, to see how they're following. They're meeting their milestones, especially those kids that are not in any kind of daycare, just so we can assess them. And we have a literacy coordinator that follows up with the parents if there's any kind of red flags that they may need to follow up on. Another thing we do is our First Step program. Each year we enroll 125 families into that program. It's a very simple program where we screen them, kind of see what they need, and give them a resource packet. And that packet has information about child safety, fire safety, all of that information. Our Parents as Teachers program is full every year. This is our, I think about 8th year we're doing it, but it's an in-home visiting program. And we pull families from the program, from the wait list each year. So it stays full, but we're always looking for more participants, where our coordinator goes in and work with families one-on-one about teaching them how they are their child's first teacher. The next one is our educating and working communities. One of the things I see is in the green this year, and I was like, yay, when I saw it in the green for the first time. One of the reasons we started this was because we had a lot of children or youth 16 to 19 that wasn't working or in school, wasn't in the military. That I don't know what they were doing, and here. And so we began to focus on that. We did a lot of partnership with the local technical college to bring like well-rated programs and all of that here. We had a class that graduated, I think, over the summer with about 5 or 6 people that graduated. But we see that that's in the beginning. Again, it's because of the work you all are doing to make this happen. The last one is youth development. And we did that because we saw a lot of youth in the community. I think it was alcohol use in the community, as well as teens not really realizing that underage drinking is a problem. And so out of that was birthed the Teen Maze that goes on every year, as well as providing families with support through our annual back to school rally. This year, that back to school rally had just under 500, we gave away just under 500 backpacks. Hundreds of families came through, received a lot of resources and school supplies. And again, just want to end with this so that we can bring our other speakers up. I say, my face may be the face of Family Connection, maybe the name behind Family Connection, but Family Connection is you. It's the people sitting behind me. It's the community. We can't do this work without you. Family Connection works off a budget of about $52,500. And then we have other little grants like for our different initiatives. But we can't make this work happen with $52,000. We know that. It takes you partnering with and bringing your resources to the table and say, we can do this. How can we partner? So it's you. You are the village that make things happen. You are the village that turned most of our little things green this year. So I'm excited about that, and we will continue to do the work. I appreciate you, continue to do what you do. I can't do it without you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Veldy. And if you're not tapped into the work that's happening in the collaborative, I think you have picked the right moment to hear what's happening and to find your place. Just one thing before we begin to bring some of our panelists and our speakers up, I wanted to offer my regrets from Senator Strickland. He was originally scheduled to join us here this morning, but he was called into court and wasn't able to make it today. And also the mayor of our beautiful city, Mayor Perriman, sends his regrets as he also had a commitment for another board meeting. So thank you all so much again for your attendance. And at this time, we're going to bring our county manager, Mr. Adam Mestris, to give us highlights from the county.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Veldy, for your leadership, visioning, and all the work that Family Connections does each and every day in Morgan County. Good morning, Morgan County and fellow collaborators. As I prepared remarks for you this morning, the word that came to mind this year was thankful. We have a lot to be thankful for, and I'm truly thankful for each and every one in attendance today. I'm especially thankful for our esteemed panel behind us to our left and our right. For together, we are servant leaders. We have an awesome responsibility of taking care of this great community. Whether elected or appointed, each of us have been entrusted by our residents, neighbors, friends, and family to make the best decisions possible. Hear me now. We don't always get it right, but we do always put our best foot forward, and we learn from where we have erred in the past. We want to make our community one in which people want to call home. As this forum continues, I encourage you to pay attention to each of our panelists today, for each will share insights into the many facets that make Morgan County truly amazing. Shortly, you'll be hearing from our county chairman, Ben Ryden, about all the happenings in county government. But I did want to take a quick moment, as I usually like to do, and where I thrive best is on the finances of the county. Our FY23 budget cycle just ended on June 30th. And each year I challenge our amazing team of managers, elected officials, and frontline employees to do their best in making sure we come in under budget. And I'm proud to announce that this year our team has done that once again, and we came in roughly 11% under budget over the what we had budgeted for FY23. Last year, when I presented to you, we were 9% under budget, so we did even a little bit better than we did last year. And when we come in under budget, that's dollars that we can put right back in our community and to most importantly, our taxpayers who help make government run day in and day out. Our revenues were up almost 8% higher than expected. So again, there's good news on all fronts in the county. Our fund balance is strong, yielding at least 4 months of operating reserves. It's probably a little bit higher than that today. Our fiscal approach to conservative spending has allowed the county to take the rollback millage rate for again this year and for the last 6 years. But more importantly, if y'all saw in the newspaper, I believe last week, the Board of Commissioners recently adopted the rollback millage rate again, and we actually lowered property taxes by roughly 3% this year. That's something that has not been done in many years. And this is the first time that the county unincorporated millage rate is below 10 mils since 2015. So that's a huge accomplishment for us. And that's the county's commitment and our community's commitment to try to make it as affordable to live here from a taxation standpoint while providing the same great services that we provide. Our transportation special purpose local option sales tax, or TSPLOS, which is better known as, is up almost 6.5% revenue wise over the previous fiscal year. Our local option sales tax is up almost 7% over the previous fiscal year. And our special purpose local option sales tax, or SPLOS, is up almost 10% over the previous year. So what that tells us is that our economy is good, even despite what's happening around us. People are spending money here locally. Our residents are spending money. Certainly we're a corridor county of I-20, so we have a lot of people stopping by and coming into downtown and all of our cities to spend money and infuse our economy. We're earning on average almost 5% on countywide investments, which is great. So As inflation rises, so does investment rates. So that's something we're taking advantage of, so that we can make the best use of the resources we have. I, for one, am excited to call Morgan County home. As I said in the beginning, we have a lot to be thankful for. I know the rest of the panel has some exciting insights to share. Thanks again.
Thank you, Adam, and good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, thank you. Billy, thank you very much for putting this on. Done a great job, and this is, we've been doing this now for a long time, I guess it is, but I'll try not to bore you too much. Ben, if you could silence that phone. I'm so popular, people like, yeah. I'm gonna try to be as brief as I can because Veldy threatened to beat me with her sandals if I did it. And so, you know, we'll try the best I can. The economic condition in Morgan County is very strong. And I say that now, not trying to take credit for it, but just recognize the fact that our economy has changed. We've changed and we're continuing to change. Everyone knows or should know about the development to our west. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. But I do want to talk a little bit about the fact that the grading is almost completed there. And we expect the Rivian plant to start going vertical towards the end of this year, the beginning of next year. So we are waiting for the court bond validation decision. That will be coming in the not too distant future. So things are going well out in that end of the world. If you look at the newest unemployment rates, and they're very, very confusing. Our June number was 3.2% unemployment. Contrast that to April, it was 2.3. Now, I don't know how much of that is drawn by the summertime and all of a sudden influx of graduates that are now entering the job market that are looking for work and everything else. But the net effect is our unemployed individuals went from 228 in April to 310 in June. That's 310 people that are in the job market that are unemployed. That's too high. I don't know what we can do to try to help stimulate that and make it happen, but we are doing some workforce training. We have members here from our College and Career Academy, and they're trying to do some things now, adopting an apprenticeship program, and other things like that, trying to find opportunities for our kids in school, whether it's work-based learning or CTAE or whatever the path is. We're trying to make sure that they're prepared to enter the workforce. We've got to look at workforce housing. That is a new thing, a new initiative that the county just embarked upon, trying to move in the direction of looking at affordable housing. And affordable housing is not Section 8 housing. It's not, you know, $100,000 houses, but it is houses that our kids that are recent graduates that are entering the workforce and our first responders can actually afford to live in Morgan County rather than having to live in some other county and community. Let's talk a little bit about our development here. We've got several members from the city council here with us, and last night they took a bold step and approved a zoning change that's going to allow small developments to occur in Morgan County and in the city of Madison. That's going to be 3 up to 35,000 square foot buildings that would be built over time, where you can rent 3, 5, 10,000 square feet. And that's going to be for plumbers, electricians, welding, maintenance, you know, all those type activities, including moving companies. And I didn't realize that we didn't have that piece in our zoning law that allows that, but we do now. So that's a significant thing. We also have P&K Group, which is a group out of Atlanta that are looking at developing an area on 83 south of I-20. They started out great guns and they were going to have this big development. They came and met with us. They came and met with the city. They've decided to relook at their hand and try to figure out exactly what's going to fit best for Morgan County. Of course, right across the road from them is the Safari Conservation Park. They're under construction now. Fencing is going up. You're expecting to see some of the housing occurring in that area, and they're already starting to acquire animals. So they're going to start bringing animals in. So I would expect our tourism development to pick up and our tourism spending to pick up. Lastly, we've had 3 biopharmacists within the last 2 weeks that are interested in looking to relocate to Morgan County. Now, these are folks that are, as Ed Lathan pointed out last night in City Council, these are the 500 to 1,000 employee industries. They are as clean as they can be, but again, they'll make a decision as to whether or not they want to come locate in Morgan County or up to the Research Triangle in North Carolina. So that's one of the things that we're looking at right now. We're just trying to play off a little bit of what's happening in Stanton Springs and Decatur and what's happening in Atlanta and along that I-20 corridor. So again, the outlook for Morgan County and its economic development is very, very strong, but we will need your continued help to try to get our kids prepared for the future and make sure that they have someplace to stay. So with that, thank you for all your help.
Like I cut off my head in this thing always. How are y'all doing? Good morning. Y'all doing okay? Hope everybody's doing well. I do also want to thank Veldy and Karen and others for all the work that they've done to get this going, and it's a great event, and I'm proud to be here. Do want to start off by thanking our Board of Education. We had a board meeting last night. We have a wonderful board. I think we work very well together, and we have a great team. And I think that's where really a lot of the success we have as a district starts with that good team here as a school district. And I appreciate them very much. Also appreciate the community support that we have in Morgan County. It makes a big difference in the success we have as a school district. Adam mentioned their budget. We had our highest budget ever this year. We're a little over $43 million. It's about a 13% increase. A lot of that's driven by the state increase, the healthcare costs that we have to pay our as a school district. So that's one of the big things that's kind of occurred this last year. But we were able to roll back our millage rate as well to 13.511, which is the lowest in Morgan County history that we've had. So very proud of that. It's probably one of the lowest in the state. Our fund balance, like the county, is about 4 months. So we're in a very good fiscal place as a school district. So I'm very proud of that. And we did provide salary increases for every one of our employees. So good year. We're very fortunate. Our community is doing very well in a lot of ways, especially economically, and it makes a big difference. One of the more interesting things I'll probably share today is about our enrollment. Since I've been here at the beginning of COVID, you've just seen a steady growth, at least 100 students per year, which for Morgan, that's a pretty good bit, the 3 to 4% of our enrollment. This year, for the first time, it is pretty much flat year over year, which is an interesting thing. And you can kind of break that down in a lot of ways why, but we're essentially just completely the same as we were about a year ago. So I don't know what that portends or means, but I'm sure interest rates are driving a little bit of that, but that's just an interesting thing that and we're okay with a little bit of a pause and maybe a little bit of a chance to catch up. But we've been rated by some publications the top 10 school district in Georgia. We're very proud of that, and we work very hard. We have a great staff. Really, these first 2 weeks, you see everybody pulling together. It's very hot. Dealing with traffic. We do want to thank the sheriff's department for all their help with the traffic and working through some of that. Today was our best day ever. I mean, it's just automatically 11th day of school. It's amazing how that starts getting better and people kind of figure out when they want to go. But we're very appreciative of that, and all of our staff in making the school year been really a smooth start. The biggest hiccup we had was the power went out for about an hour yesterday, but we survived. And I was at one of the schools for a while during that, and you would not even know that really, other than the teachers walking around with their phones with their lights on, that there was any issues going on. So pretty proud of all that went on. During that, our graduation rate was the highest ever in Morgan County history this past year, 95.8. And we've been 90% or better for 4 years in a row. So that's, I think, very outstanding. Our scores, won't get into too much in the weeds on that, but we are one of the highest. We usually beat our RESA average, which the RESA for us is the regional area around Morgan County that makes up about 14 school districts. We're one of the higher than the average there, and also our state. And very proud of those scores that we get on that. Just some things that's going to be a big initiative for us as a school district this year, because we collect 1 cent like the county does for, we call it ESPLOS, Educational Special Local Option Sales Tax. And it's done very well, but a lot of it's driven through inflation and a lot of things that we've had. But because of that, the amount of money we expected to get has been better, obviously. And so we will probably going to be voting this spring for another ESPLOS And that's primarily going to be focused on a new complex. You may know that we've probably been planning for many years to build a new primary school. We have a very old one as well. But what we're also using with our East Bluffs monies is paying off this within 2 years, our middle and high school, which you all know is pretty new. So that's very good. We're about to pay off that mortgage, if you will, this in 2026. And then we would start on a new complex. It's probably now kind of evolving into being not just a new primary school, but a new elementary school as well, which is kind of an old building as well. We think for a lot of reasons, and I'll talk more about it, I'm sure, that throughout the year, that this is going to be a much safer thing to have everybody on one side of the road, where we can have a perimeter. Maybe we're hoping, anybody at the DOT access on 441. I think that's going to be critical, and it'll help us so much better, I think, than a lot of things that we do, instead of trying to have people going back and forth on East Avenue like that. So we're pretty excited about that. That will bring all of our facilities to be really pretty new. So that'll be something we're working toward probably in May of this year in the for the East Bluffs bond referendum. Some successes that we've had because the East Bluffs has gone better than we expected. We've been able to take that extra money that we've gotten, and we call it pay as you go. It's like you have a little bit more money, but we've been very disciplined and strategic in how we've been saving that money. And if you haven't seen, we've started a new multi-purpose building right by the stadium. We're doing some other work around the stadium. We appreciate the county. We've worked with the track, the tennis courts. So we have some really fine, I want to have 5-star first-class facilities, everything that we do as a school district, particularly in this area. So we're very proud of some of the things we're going to do. And on the horizon is a couple more, particularly a ag barn. So we're excited about doing that. I think that'll be important for just what Morgan stands for and our CTAE, department in that area. I think that's an important aspect of what we do here in Morgan County. So we're excited about that coming up. But after we do those couple of more projects, we're really going to be turning our attention the next year or two to really this new complex of schools. And that'll be very important, I think, for our district in the future and years to come. So just the challenges we face, it's been kind of increasing enrollment, although I kind of expected to say that again this year, but thankfully, again, we may have a little bit of maybe a pause. I don't think it's not going to come. I just think that it's probably a nice little respite for a second here. Social media continues to be a challenge for everybody, I think, associated with schools across the nation, from just threats that we get anonymously to just different things. It just generates, as you know, in your own personal life, I'm sure, it can bring a lot of challenges, particularly around the area of mental health. It's just the area, I think, it's a society, especially as we kind of pivot away from COVID, that we're dealing with as a school district. And we put a lot of emphasis on that as a district. So proud about that. Safety is always the number one thing I think about all the time. That if I lose sleep, it's about just making sure we have a safe school district. We have great support, as I mentioned earlier, from our Sheriff's Department. We have an SRO at every school. Not every district has that. They may have one, for 3 or 4 schools. We have one at every school. We are working really hard to really secure and do as much as we can from a physical standpoint to make those as safe as possible. But a lot of it is just the relationships that we can develop within our community and our school with our students is really going to be the number one thing we can do. So we work really hard about that as well. So the state of our system, I think, is very strong. Really one of the highest enrollments, highest budget, highest, graduation rate that we've ever had. So very proud of our system and just very appreciative of the community support that we get on a day-to-day basis to make this, I think, a very special district. So thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Mr. Hughes has already talked about economic development, but I'm going to give you a couple more things from the city standpoint. The city is pleased to honor its utility commitments to the zoo as this regional tourism asset makes progress. There's a great deal of industrial development planning underway near the interchange. 1 or more small industrial parks are anticipated. In terms of commerce, Madison's Quarter has new Sherwin-Williams, Starbucks, a new lube shop, and soon another package store. We approved that on last night. Our hospitality industry will also be dramatically upgraded with the new hotel approved for the bypass. Downtown Madison is floating at nearly 100% occupancy right now. The long vacant station on North Main Street has been occupied, and the home goods market is flourishing. Need to stop for a minute and thank Veldy for allowing us to be here today, and thank Karen. Karen Robinson has been promoted to the city's first Director of Human Resources. The city remains supportive of downtown Madison and expanded event programming. So Main Street Director, that position will be backfilled as soon as possible. The mayor and myself completed recent courses in DE&I, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion.
We graduated and was presented awards last night for that. We are working with Mr. Freddie Broom of GMA. We're also happy to foster a local training opportunity. We would like to invite the largest public sector employees, elected officials with the city, elected officials with the county, BOE, and the hospital authority, as well as Family Connection. We would like for them all of us to come together and be trained for DE&I, for diversity, equity, and inclusion, so we can include everyone in our city, our county, and all government aspects. We are currently looking for funding sources for stormwater, addressing a growing number of stormwater issues and the lack of citywide infrastructure. The city is exploring funding sources, including potentials of stormwater utility. Our idea here is to be proactive, thoughtful, and incremental instead of straining the budget and being caught off guard, such as the collapse that we had on Crawford Street. To add to public parking, the city has purchased another small parking lot on Jefferson Street, and it's negotiating future acquisition opportunities. Y'all forgive me, this is my very first time doing this particular thing, so I'm a little nervous. And I do talk a lot, but I'm still nervous. This coming year, Madison will complete a new thoroughfare plan. For alternative transportation, the city has secured nearly $2.5 million in awards for sidewalks, engineering, and construction of trails. And I'm very excited about the trails. I don't know if you guys are. We have new signs that are being designated for golf carts. They have arrived and are being erected this month, marking the advent of the new form of acceptable transportation in the city of Madison. So you guys will see more golf carts traveling around Madison, but you have to make sure that you're doing it the correct way. Our city manager initiated and completed a comprehensive plan. He called upon the council to implement a competitive workforce project package to keep Madison on par with comparable communities and to both retain and attract quality staff in this increasingly competitive labor market, which was very big for me. In DE&I learned so much, because usually when you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, you think about race, but it's more into it. It's so much more than just race. It's about women and men. It's about being treated equally in all standpoints from all aspects. So we need to make sure that we're being paid exactly what we need to be paid, regardless of whether we're black, white, blue, green, male, or female. And for housing, of the note, in last year, the majority of single-family housing permits are excess of $700,000, and the opening of Canaan Crossing workforce townhouses witnessed at least a wait list of 200. So we built Canaan Crossing in our city and got a lot of pushback. And I'll say it now and I'll say it again later. We got a lot of pushback, but we built it anyway. Even after we filled Canaan Crossing, and this is for workforce housing, this is for people that work every day, we still had a waiting list of 240 people waiting on housing in our city. Recognizing overall housing options, the city continues to implement a very balanced and measured approach, having approved 2 new workforce developments, which is Carmichael Commons townhouses and Pryor Farm single-family housing, as well as a market rate downtown apartments in Veranda Park Phase 2. For green space, the city will have received donations of 4 acres for a future neighborhood park on Carmichael. The city also acquired 6 acres of environmentally sensitive land permanently protected by DDA's conservation easement. And this fall, the city will make its first beautification efforts of Clark Park. Clark Park is down between Washington Street and Jefferson Street, where we flattened the blight and slum of the old liquor store and the old Adrian's. That will be Clark Park. So we'll have more green space in our city. Thank you all.
Good morning, everybody. I brought my watch here because Adam says I can go off on a tangent sometimes. Many of y'all know I'm usually talk about finance and accounting because that's my area of expertise, but I think Adam wants to take credit for all the good financial and accounting. And I don't blame him because we have, his team. We've got our controller, Laurie Sayer here. She does a good job. She's knows almost as much as I do about it. And one day I'm going to get her up to my level of understanding. Isn't that right, Laurie? So Family Connections, earlier, I heard y'all were mentioning it focuses on needs for families and communities. So that's a couple of things that I'm gonna hit on right now. As you all know, we got a new park complex being built. It's popular with some folks, not popular with others. I think you all just heard the price tag went up. The original estimate was like 19 million. Now it's up around 25 total. It's about 21,265,000 to build it out. And then some of the soft costs will push it toward 25. It cannot go higher than that. It could be lower than that. But what you will have is when it's completed, we didn't borrow a lot of money. We're financing a lot of that internally because we're very frugal with our funds. So we're going to finance over half of it internally. But we did sell $10 million in bonds for it. We got a very good interest rate, I think around 3.5%, 4%. But we're very well positioned there. The payments won't put a strain on the county at all. We'll be fine. But we'll have, the park complex, we'll have baseball fields, 4 baseball fields, a miracle field. You'll have splash fountain for kids. Obviously, we'll have playgrounds. The big thing for the older, I guess I'm the older group. There'll be a 40,000 square foot community center, which will have, of course, it'll have basketball courts for people to play on. I think it's going to have some volleyball, pickleball, indoor walking track for folks that like to walk indoors in the cool when it's oppressively hot out there these last few days. Activity rooms, we're going to have places you could rent maybe for events, maybe even possibly if you want to have weddings and stuff like that. We're going to have opportunities for a lot of use for that building. We needed one for a long time. The place they play basketball now is a place that was there when I was in school years ago. My kids were in school. That thing's been there for many, many years. And also another thing we got going is I've heard a lot of talk about housing. We do have a few new subdivisions going up in the county. Kingston, which is a subdivision that was initially started about 2005, I think, and it was voted on by boards previous to us, but this went through several iterations of bankruptcies. But now it's going again. We hope that it will produce houses in the 2,000 to 2,200 square foot range. That will be houses that middle income people, your teachers, your firemen, your public servants, and even people that are maybe getting their first or second home can afford to buy and live there. Madison Hills is going to have 72 lots. Arborist Phase 2 is going to have about 65. So there will be, and I think there's a 700 in the first phase of Kingston. So there is going to be housing out there. Obviously, out in the county. Now we're still committed to keeping this county a rural flavor, because out in the county, that's what people want. I've been here. I'm a lifelong resident. Bill behind me's been here all his life. We went to school together. He's a couple of years younger than me. But I'm committed to keeping the county as rural as possible. But we do still have to meet the housing needs of the people that do want to live here. And that's what we hope to accomplish. Another talking point I'd like to hit on is countywide broadband. As a lot of you know, we got the feds provided some RDOF money. Central Georgia EMC and Spectrum Charter Spectrum were awarded areas in this county. The south end was mostly Central Georgia EMC. They're building that out. I think we got they connected up 1,700 residents, and we paid for another 500. Charter's got 2,000 residents kind of in the middle part of the county and a lot of those people have received it by now, and they're enjoying their broadband. We're working with Charter now. There was another company that was going to do the north end of the county, but they weren't going to do a hard wire. They were going to do a Wi-Fi type deal. And we're working with Charter to get them to cover out the northern end of the county. And that would be about 650 residents. And we've just about got that deal worked out with them where we think that. So we figure within the next 18 months, we hope to have 95% of the county built out with hardwired internet. And that would be great for the people that work at home and, and do that there. There'll still be some little pockets in the county that will have to be addressed, but they will, we'll get those addressed, as time goes, because in the southern tip of the county, there's still some areas that Central hadn't got to yet, Connexions who they're using to build it out. They will get to those areas, but they have to get to it kind of as they have opportunity to get there. But like I said, we're hoping to get most of the county with internet within the next 18 months. And a lot of the counties already got it. They're enjoying it currently. Just a couple of more notes here. Very proud that we were able to cut taxes first time in many, many years. We understand property values are going up, so we hope that cut in taxes will help reduce any burden on your tax burden, and we hope it'll help you out there. One final note, and I'm staying within my time, Adam, is I am the JDA, the Joint Development Authority rep. Bob and I are on that board. He's already talked about Rivian, so I'm not going to go into any specifics on that. Plus, we can't go into a lot of specifics because we don't know them quite yet because they're still working through everything. But if anybody has any questions about Rivian, wants to know anything, come see me. I'll talk to you. I'll tell you everything I know that I can tell you, and we'll go from there. But if anybody wants to know anything about that, I'll be glad to talk to you about it and share what I can. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to y'all and to share these things. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask or reach out to me, call me. I still have a landline because at my house, the only internet connection I have is dial-up. So I didn't get it from me first. I can tell you that. I'm probably the last one to get it. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Beldy. Good morning, I am Ralph, and I have so many exciting things to share with you that I'm going to take more than the 300 seconds allotted to me. But it'll be good information y'all can take with you.
That's okay, Ralph. You can have what that.
We installed a 64 slice CT in October 2021, and amongst the many new tests we can do with this new CT are cardiac calcium scoring to determine heart attack risk and low dose lung screening for early detection of lung cancer. The mammography program at Morgan is American College of Radiologists accredited and is inspected annually by a physicist for the Food and Drug Administration. The mammography machine is a 3D platform and has been specifically upgraded to allow us, findings so promise, to perform stereotactic breast biopsies, wire localization biopsies to aid the surgeon, and ultrasound-guided breast biopsies. This state-of-the-art system lets the patient have a more positive biopsy experience. Currently, we provide nuclear medicine stress tests every other week on Wednesdays. The hospital authority recently approved a significant expansion of the nuclear medicine program, and in the next 6 months or so, we will be able to provide many more nuke med exams. These include, but are not limited to, HIDA scans for the gallbladder, sentinel node scans for breast cancer, thyroid scans, brain imaging, renal scans, and VQ scans for the lungs. We have also upgraded the sonography equipment, and that will allow improved echocardiography capabilities with the addition of bubble studies and contrast, thus enhancing the images of the heart. We also do special procedures like paracentesis, biopsies of the liver, kidney, and thyroid. Morgan Medical Center has recently enhanced both the outpatient wound care and infusion therapy programs. Wound care is focused on patients suffering from chronic and non-healing wounds, such as pressure injuries and ulcers, surgical wounds, diabetic wounds, burns, ostomies, and continence. Patients in the program will receive focused, quality personal care and attention from certified wound care nurse Savannah Johnson and general surgeon Dr. Jacob Workin. This is the new surgeon, Georgia native and UGA graduate I teased y'all with last year. Savannah also leads the infusion therapy program, offering a variety of specialty injections and infusion therapies in a comfortable, relaxing environment. Services include blood transfusions, IV fluids, dehydration treatment, port and PICC line care, Foley care, and therapeutic phlebotomy. For the second year in a row, we saw over 10,000 patients in the ER. Of that number, 2,322 were children, 17 years of age or younger. This past June, Dr. David Lawrence, a Morgan County resident, took over as the site medical director, and he is helping us run and grow the department. In fiscal year 2023, Morgan Medical Center achieved remarkable milestones in surgical excellence across various specialties. Surgical services demonstrated an unwavering commitment to patient care by successfully completing a total of 774 procedures. Among the notable achievements were 514 endoscopy cases. This reflects the growing significance of minimally invasive procedures in diagnosing and treating a wide spectrum of medical conditions. Plastic surgery showcased its expertise with 109 cases, contributing not only to aesthetic enhancements, but also to the restoration of patients' self-confidence. Additionally, the 54 podiatry cases highlighted our holistic approach to healthcare, recognizing the importance of foot health and overall mobility and quality of life. 44 general surgery cases were completed during the fiscal year, from appendectomies to breast lumpectomies to port placements. Our skilled surgical teams demonstrated versatility and proficiency, catering to a wide range of medical needs within the community. Gynecological cases, numbering 37, rounded out the fiscal year and underscored our dedication to women's health. These surgeries played a crucial role in addressing various reproductive health concerns and ensuring the well-being of our female patients. With a total of 774 surgical procedures in fiscal 23, Morgan Medical Center saw an increase of over 300 procedures as compared to fiscal 2022. Folks, we have worked diligently to earn the trust and respect of the communities we serve. To continue the evolution and growth of our local community hospital, and I want to stress local and community. Adding physicians and specialists to the medical staff is essential. This list includes, and it is not exhaustive, nor in particular order, orthopedic. This year's teaser. Be looking for an announcement on orthopedics on our sign out front in the coming weeks. Y'all are gonna love it. Otolaryngology, urology, cardiology, internal medicine, pediatrics, and vascular surgery. It takes time and it takes money to attract and maintain a specialty physician practice, which brings me to my final point. As a small rural hospital, we provide many tests, procedures, and services, and the authority's goal is to always grow that list, just like some of the things I've mentioned. You, Morgan County citizenry, can help us grow and attract even more physicians. The next time your doctor wants you to have labs, x-rays, colonoscopy, physical therapy, or to have your gallbladder out, tell your doctor to send the order to Morgan Medical Center. Why leave the county for the services that we provide? Why? It is your right to go where you want to go for your health care. It is your care and it is your choice. Tell your doctor you want to stay local for your health care. It is your right to go where you want to go. Your care, your choice. Now, standing in the way of your right to choose is often your health insurance company. Case in point, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia, also known as Anthem Blue Cross. We are currently negotiating the renewal of the managed care contract we have with them. Our position is basically cost plus an ability to make a reasonable operating profit. Standard business plan, right? It should be noted that industry standard is for hospitals to be paid a profit for the commercial side of the business. We are only getting costs from Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans, and less than costs from Medicaid and Medicaid managed care plans. We are not asking for outrageous fees. We are only asking for reimbursements in the amounts that permit us to make a modest profit, stay in business, and continue to meet our patients' needs and expand our services for the communities we serve. I mean, you think about in December, we'll be 5 years old at our current location. For those of y'all to remember Morgan Memorial Hospital, and I value that memory, even though we've only been here since 2012. Just think where we were then and where we are now, and our ability to grow and meet your needs. The federal government, through the annual cost report, which is vetted through both an independent audit of the totality of the hospital's financial statements, as well as a two-pronged federal review by CMS itself, determines what our allowable costs are every year, not what you want to see. Suffice it to say, the conversations with Blue Cross have been interesting to date. Stay tuned because we may need your help. Before I close, I want to extend a promise to you. Every day, we strive to be a patient-focused center of excellence. That is our vision statement, and it's what I expect out of every single employee in that building. The pursuit of excellence in everything we do. On behalf of the hospital authority and the staff of Morgan Medical Center, we thank you for the opportunity to participate today. The state of healthcare in Morgan is great. It's great. And continues to evolve in both breadth and complexity. Down the stretch they come, and I mess up the pronunciation there at the end. Thank you again for your attention. And y'all have a great day.
I don't know about a lot of those big words Ralph was talking about at the hospital, but on a personal note, my dad actually has been at the rehabilitation center at the hospital for the last 3 weeks, and I want to give a shout out to the staff and the members at that hospital and the great job that they're doing out there. And like you say, and the benefit of the community to have that hospital. For my mother and myself and everyone to be by there and be able to stop by and check on my dad and be there for him. Having the hospital here in Madison is a tremendous help to our family. And I'll tell you just a quick little story about how much they're trying to accommodate the patients. My dad said, I don't like this 2% milk. It has no taste to it. The next morning for breakfast, he had whole milk. So they actually went out and bought milk. So thank you, Ralph, for the job that the hospital is doing, and it is a tremendous facility. If you have to be out there, I think you'll find it very accommodating. We've heard a lot of talk about growth in the community, and that is absolutely true. Where we're not growing is our police department. It's by no fault of our city not allowing us to have more police officers. It's just a fact of not being able to hire police officers. I think the sheriff will tell you as well, we all have to go to executive training every year and get our executive hours. And for the last several years, one of the big topics is hiring and retention for police officers, because people the workforce, our younger workforce has come along this day and time right now. They don't want to be in law enforcement. It's been a tough few years for us to try to hire people and retain people, and probably 20% of our classes for 3 days is about how to hire people and how to retain officers once you get them. The city of Madison actually still offers a very good retirement system for the whole city. They still have a 30-year retirement, and a lot of law enforcement agencies don't. But the kids these days that are coming along, when I say kids, the early 20s, they're not looking at retirement. They're looking at a job for right now, and they'll stay in it for a little while, and then they decide to move on to maybe even a different career. And I've had that same thing here. I've had several officers to leave, not to go to other agencies, but to find a different type of work, because let's face it, it's 24/7. We have to work midnight shift. We have to work holidays. So when families are home celebrating Christmas and birthdays and things like that, we still have police officers that have to be out here working. We're so shorthanded right now that our officers are actually on the schedule of overtime, that they're having to work overtime. I have 2 investigators that actually are working shifts right now to cover our shifts. So we're very shorthanded. But one thing we can't afford to do in our line of work is lower our standards. So we keep our standards high. So we try to make sure we hire the good people and keep our communities safe. Don't be confused. We're going to continue to answer our calls and be where we need to be. I think we have some people, maybe even some of our city council members, not the ones that are here tonight, but that stand out and watch the speed of some of the roads that the vehicles are traveling on, and they call and want speed studies done to see how fast some of these people are traveling. And we have a lot of speed bumps in our areas, and those are put out to help slow down the traffic. And a lot of that is try to help us, because we don't have enough officers to be on every street all the time. But any calls that we get, we're coming. Don't be confused and think that we're shorthanded. We won't be able to answer the calls, but because we are, and we will. I'm actually looking very forward to working with Ms. Robertson, our new human resource director, because I'm looking for some things that she might have to offer to help us recruit new police officers to come to our community. Golf carts was mentioned. Yes, you will probably be seeing more golf carts. The city, we came up with a plan to have them registered, so they have to come by and pass inspection to be sure they have all the proper equipment. So we actually put a decal on the golf cart so we can look and see that vehicle is in compliance with state law and city ordinances. So I think right now we've got about a dozen people that have registered golf carts. So people are complying with that, and we'll continue to monitor that and make sure people are safe, and that we don't have children out riding golf carts out on our streets, and we want to keep them safe as well. The growth, the Canaan crossing, that has increased our calls some. I feel like the manager out there is doing a great job, because she and I talk constantly about any problems that she has, and we try to help her with the situation that she has at Canaan Crossing. We're also going to have a new apartment complex and single family, the 40 units that are coming over in the Beacon Heights area behind the Beacon Heights Baptist Church. So we'll also be tasked with patrolling that area and make sure all these areas within the city are staying safe. But our officers are working hard. They're doing a good job for us. And when I look at the news and see what's going on in other communities and all that, I feel very fortunate to have the nice, safe community that we have here in Madison. Thank you.
No, obviously you have told Ralph that he could have any extra time. He told me the same thing, but I think Ralph based on luck. Y'all. Exactly. Y'all, I'm Robert, and I've been very honored to serve as your sheriff here in Morgan County. I want to go back to basics a little bit and kind of tell you about the sheriff's office and tell you the makeup of the sheriff's office. First of all, the sheriff's office has 62 employees. We're operating on a $5.9 million budget. Today, we have 85 inmates, 14 females, and 10 mental health patients, or mental health inmates, I should say, within the facility. Our sheriff's office is structured with the detention center, which makes up the jail staff and the inmate work crew. The uniform operations, which is patrol, school resource officers, and court services, criminal investigations, and the administrative operations. The issues that we're facing right now, currently is the growth, obviously, that the county is experiencing in traffic throughout the entire county is definitely a challenge for us. We have found ourselves in a situation where many of our roads are considered cutover roads from Athens to Atlanta. And so we're facing that traffic concerns on some of those roads that are bringing people into the community that maybe travel us once or twice and then they don't come back through again. So they do take advantage of the speed out there. So we try to deal with that the best way we can. Some of the technology advances that we've done, we've got in-car cameras in the cars. We've got body-worn cameras for every staff member, patrol, jail, investigations, court services, and even the school resource officers. In-car computers, which has the GCI reporting, also deals with citations and the flock. If anybody doesn't know what flock is, it's the cameras that you've seen posted up throughout the community that are helping us get some stolen cars back, getting wanted people off the street. They do not give tickets, so don't think that. So anyhow, we've outfitted the officers with the latest technology with tasers. We're in the process of redoing the security controls at the detention center. And we're training our officers on the latest mental health techniques, law enforcement de-escalation techniques. And we're even working with the inmates. We've got some great programs that our captain is championing down at our detention center, which is working with the inmates on de-escalation, the First Father program, and also inmate learning tablets that we have in the facility, which y'all is some people are going to say, well, why do you do stuff like that? It's behavioral management for the jail, and it also makes it easier to operate inside the jail. So we're not having to deal with those continued problems. The future holds for us our current challenges. Again, I was dealing with the traffic a minute ago. Staffing our department, we're finding ourselves in a situation where we're having to staff the department with officers from other communities. I want to hire from inside Morgan County. I want homegrown people here because they have an understanding of our community. But it's very difficult to do. Another challenge that we're dealing with is the ever-changing society expectations of law enforcement. That's a real thing for us. I mean, what society expected from us 10 years ago is not the same as what they're expecting today. And we're having to keep on top of all that. Y'all, I want to say our sheriff's office is strong. The state of our sheriff's office is very strong. But very strong, but fragile. We have to constantly maintain that and work to grow and foster the sheriff's office and the public safety. And I want to thank our commissioners because they have made public safety a priority in this county. They've done great for us. They've got us the equipment that we need to do our job. We've only got one position open at the sheriff's office right now. It's a detention center officer. So we feel like that between what the commissioners are doing for us and for what the environment that we've created within the sheriff's office, that we're doing it right. And we're working hard to maintain that. Y'all, the staff at the Morgan County Sheriff's Office remains committed to the well-being of our citizens. We work every day to make sure that we provide fair and consistent public safety. Please, if y'all want to call and support the sheriff's office and collaborate with us and give us some ideas, we're always open to those phone calls. Before I sit down, I do want to recognize one person that's here in the room. I want to recognize Olivia Laburn. She is retired from us, a longtime employee and friend, and I just wanted to recognize her before I sat down. Thank you all very much.
We should also probably give Robert, we didn't say it, but, didn't you have a lot of inmates that, were baptized back a couple of weeks ago?
We actually had 23 inmates that were baptized at our facility. A couple of weeks
I just
ago.
wanted to give him kudos for that, recognize.
Again, I gotta pass that to my captain in the jail.
Yeah, thank you.
So you all heard it firsthand from all of our city and county leaders. You heard the amazing work that they're doing to maintain their budgets, to keep the budget strong. You heard about the projects and the programs that they're doing to keep all of the quality of our lives where it should be. One thing that I'd like to end on is, and Sheriff Markley said it, he said it beautifully. He said the sheriff department is strong but fragile. And I think that that is a message that's synonymous across all of our agencies. While we're yet strong in growing our staff, strong in developing our budgets, there's still that measure of fragility that we all experience. That portion where if something changes in life, it could upset the apple cart, if you will, in each of our organizations. So how do we balance that out? We balance that out with great citizens who invest in their community, who take their skill sets and their time and their concerns and work with these leaders, not against them, but works with them to continue to balance out that very portion of fragility that could impact all of us. So from myself to each of you all, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you to the citizens of Madison and Morgan County for your time today. Thank you, Veldy, for your excellent work in managing our Family Connection Collaborative. And we appreciate you all. I'm sure each of them are going to stay around for a while. If you have any questions, they may run out the door, so don't have your list of questions too long. Come with one question or comment, because I think we're not going to open up the arena for questions because we'll be here through lunch. But if there's someone that you specifically want to speak to, please take a moment to share not just your concerns, but share your congratulations and share your gratitude for the great work that they're doing. Thank you all again. Great to see you all. And I hope that you will make plans to be back for our 2024 State of Morgan County on next year. Thank you so much. And I think I would like to get a group picture with all of you all. So don't line up. Thank you.
That's